It's 11 trivia questions on What's the Theme, where I ask you random questions and all the answers have something in common. Can you figure it out? This is Trivia with Buds. And welcome to another episode of the Trivia with Buds podcast. I'm your host, you guessed it, Ryan Buds. Thanks for listening. Thanks for checking this out. And thanks for subscribing for new episodes every single day. I am excited about all kinds of things coming up in May. Mother's Day this weekend. Don't forget your mom on Sunday. And don't forget my wife's birthday 2 days after that on Tuesday. If you guys want to send her presents in my name, that would be very, very cool. Ashley Starling Buds. She's a big fan of all things related to Bob Ross and Zach Braff and Kristen Bell. So anything that has to do with those three things, she would be very happy to get. Even if it's just a little post on her Facebook wall. You can find her on Facebook, Ashley Starling Buds. Her birthday coming up May 14th. And she will be guest hosting an episode on Anne Rice novels for Brenda Martinez later this week, so get ready for that. Maybe we'll put that one up on her birthday. That could be kind of fun. And lots of other fun stuff coming up in May. Like I always talk about this week, the Harry Potter show on May 31st. Would love to see you there at Last Name Brewing in Upland, California. Tickets at triviawithbuds.com. Click the banner at the top. And other fun stuff coming out. My friends are doing a big Game of Thrones parody musical called Shame of Thrones. We mentioned that on the podcast a couple weeks ago. My friend Stephen Parker and company. You can check that out at the Whitefire Theater, I think it's called, in Sherman Oaks. And just search gotthemusical.com. If you're anywhere near Sherman Oaks and you want to see a great show, I believe it's on Monday nights. And it is a big Game of Thrones parody musical called Shame of Thrones. They did one on Lost, and now they're jumping on to the next one, which is the big hit finale of Game of Thrones. So check that out if you like fun stuff, if you like GOT. Everyone's freaking out over this Starbucks cup that was left on Sunday night on the episode in front of Daenerys and Daenerys, whatever her name is. And she's just sitting there. There's a Starbucks cup chilling, and people are outraged. I like when stuff like this happens because I just like when things aren't perfect because nothing is perfect, you know, when you really think about it. And when those mistakes get left in, I just kind of chuckle. But some people get really mad and they're like, this ruins the integrity of the show. How did this happen? How could this happen? And they get like so mad about it. But I'm more just like, hey, somebody screwed up and nobody caught it. That's pretty funny, you know? That's how I think you should think about it, at least. That's my thoughts on it. I'm still high on Avengers. I still think you should see it. If you haven't seen it, I want to see it again. Really bad. Endgame, so good. And on the way out of Endgame, I saw a poster for like the new X-Men movie, and I was like, oh, come on. It comes out next month. No one's going to see that. There's still going to be people going nuts for Avengers on June 7th or whenever this next X-Men movie comes out. I cannot imagine that the hype is going to be big for this X-Men movie, even though they say it's the final X-Men movie for a while. I'm just not on board. I don't think I saw the last two. Or I definitely didn't see the one with Apocalypse, which, didn't look so great. Oscar Isaac, I think, plays Apocalypse, but who knows? Maybe it's good. If you've seen it and it's good, let me know, and maybe I'll watch it. I need some new stuff to watch. I am all caught up on most of my shows. I'm not caught up on Game of Thrones, but I'm just not even going to dive in. It's too late now. The hype is already dying down. I need to finish that at some point. Or it'll go the way of Dexter and Breaking Bad, and I'll just watch half of it and then be like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. So we'll see. But today's episode is called What's the Theme? I have a bunch of random questions for you, and you have to figure out what they all have in common. This is a fun round for me to do, and this was a fun round for people to guess. A lot of people did not guess it. I'd say about 40% got it, 60% missed it all week long. So let's see if you can figure it out. Again, all the questions are random. They will have something in common at the end, and it will be something specific. It won't just be like, they're all words, or like, these are all names of things. Like, it's got to be a little more specific than that, guys. Come on. So if you're writing down your answers, try and figure out what you have in common, and then put that as your bonus 2-point question answer at the end, and see if you can get all 12 points on this round. We're going to jump into it, recorded live at RT Rogers Brewing in Sierra Madre, California right now. This is What's the Theme? Here we go. This is round number 3. It's called What's the Theme? You have to write down all the answers and then look at your answers and figure out what they all might have in common. Okay, round number 3. What's the theme?
Question number 1. What 2002 film starred Ice Cube, Cedric the Entertainer, and Anthony Anderson? Number 1. What 2002 film starred Ice Cube, Cedric the Entertainer, and Anthony Anderson? Number 1. What's the theme? Number 1. Number 2 on your list. What's the theme? What 2014 dystopian sci-fi film was based on the novel by Veronica Roth? This was the freebie question on my website. One of them this week. You could have looked it up. Number 2, what 2014 dystopian sci-fi film was based on the novel by Veronica Roth? Number 2. Number 3, what 2006 movie starred Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston as a quarreling couple? Number 3, what 2006 movie? Wow, that movie's 13 years old already. Starred Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston as a quarreling couple. Number 3. Number 4, in what film does Harrison Ford play someone named Dr. Richard Kimball? Number 4, in what film does Harrison Ford play Dr. Richard Kimball? Number 4. Number 5. Henry Rowengartner, an unskilled little leaguer, dreams of playing in the major leagues and breaks his arm catching a fly ball in what 90s movie? Number 5, Henry Rowengartner, an unskilled little leaguer, dreams of playing in the major leagues and breaks his arm catching a fly ball in what 90s movie? Number 5. Question number 6 for what's the theme in what 2005 movie does Nicolas Cage get large sodas thrown at him in the streets? Number 6. 2005 movie. Does Nicolas Cage get large sodas thrown at him in the streets? Number 6. Number 7. In what movie does Tom Hanks play a mob enforcer named Mike Sullivan? Ooh. Number 7. In what movie does Tom Hanks play a mob enforcer named Mike Sullivan? Number 7. Number 8. In what film does John Cusack work at a record store with Jack Black? Number 8. In what film does John Cusack work at a record store with Jack Black? Number 8. Number 9 on your list. What 1991 movie was all about firefighters? Number 9. What 1991 movie was all about firefighters? Number 9. Number 10. In what Will Ferrell movie does his character start to hear someone narrating his life? I was an extra in this movie. Number 10. In what Will Ferrell movie, could be, does his character start to hear someone narrating his life? Number 10. Number 10. And your bonus question for this round called What's the Theme? For 2 points. What was the theme to all the answers this round? It is something specific. It's not just like, they're movies. Okay? That's the end of round number 3. What's the theme? Figure out what the theme was. We'll be right back with the answers and scores. Let's see how you did on round number 3. What's the theme? Some people figured the theme out, some people did not. Number 1, what 2002 film starred Ice Cube, Cedric the Entertainer, and Anthony Anderson? Barbershop was the movie, Barbershop. Number 2, 2014 dystopian sci-fi film was based on the novel by Veronica Roth. Divergent was the name of that. Number 3, 2006, Vince Vaughn, Jennifer Aniston quarreling couple movie, The Breakup. Number 4, in what film does Harrison Ford play someone named Dr. Richard Kimball? The Fugitive. Number 5, Henry Rowengartner, an unskilled little leaguer, breaks his arm catching the fly ball in Rookie of the Year. Number 6, in what 2005 movie does Nicolas Cage get a large soda thrown at him in the street? Weatherman. The Weatherman. Number 6. Number 7, in what movie does Tom Hanks play a mob enforcer named Mike Sullivan? Road to Perdition. Number 8, in what film does John Cusack work at a record store with Jack Black? High Fidelity. Number 9, what 1999 movie was all about firefighters? Backdraft. Number 10, in what Will Ferrell movie does his character start to hear someone narrating his life? Stranger Than Fiction. And for 2 points, what was the theme to all the answers this round? They were all movies that take place in Chicago. That was the theme. Couple people got it. Couple teams. Nice job, movie buffs.
Boom. There it was. Chicago-based movies. Did you get it? Did you figure it out? I am a Chicago-based person. And I slip a lot of Chicago stuff into my trivia nights, and this was no different. I heard people going, well, he's from Chicago. Like I heard muttering when I was hosting at a few places, like, I wonder if it's Chicago. You know, that kind of stuff. So, and that's exactly what it was. And I mentioned, I think, in this recording that I was in the movie Stranger Than Fiction. You could see me when Will Ferrell's in a red sweater running out of a building in a crowd of people for a split second, and you really got to look hard. But I'm right next to him. We tried to time where we'd be so that he would push us out of the way. This is my first thing I ever did extra work on in Chicago. Me and my friend Steve Nelson, we just made sure that Will Ferrell pushed us out of the way as much as possible so we could try and get in that shot. And I think we're in there for a second. So check it out. This is a great movie, and I really enjoy it. Stranger Than Fiction, Will Ferrell, Chicago. And some other great Chicago movies in there. I don't know if I mentioned this in the recording, but Backdraft, my uncle Don was a stuntman in that because they needed real firefighters for certain scenes. So he got to be in Backdraft. And that was kind of interesting. I remember that being a big family story around the early 90s. Like, hey, Uncle Don's in this movie. So that was kind of cool, too. If you have a theme you want me to do on the show, maybe you have a slew of questions, and you're like, ooh, hey, what if you did like an Ocean's 11 related theme or something? And then all the questions were about different people from Ocean's 11. I could try and work that in. I've just spoiled that surprise, but I could use it at my live nights and then post it much later or something. So, if you have something like that, or what's some other themes I've done in the past? I did American Gladiator names. That was a tough one. I did Goosebump Books titles, I think, or they were all like key things from Goosebump Books titles. That was very specific. I've done state capital cities. I've done spaces on the Monopoly board. So there's lots of cool things you could do. And if you have one and some questions for it, send them my way, ryanbuds@gmail.com. Or maybe you want to record your own episode and take over this show. I'm looking for somebody to do that every so often. So send me your recording. You could do an intro, all the questions, answers, and an outro, and you can promote whatever you want if you have something going on, and I'll post it as an episode of my show. So that'll be very cool, and it's easy for you to take over these airwaves. Just send me an email. And thank you guys so much for listening. Thanks for telling a friend about this show, and we'll see you tomorrow for more Trivia with Buds. Cheers.